Hi guys! Welcome to the first episode of my Dangerous Flowers series, and I thought I'd kick it off with roses, especially since Wet n Wild has their rose collection out. I did end up using one of the palettes from that for this smoky whatever this look is. If you guys want to see how I created this look, keep on watching. Alright, Dangerous Flowers, episode 1. Obviously, roses. So, to get this started, I'm actually going to be using one of the Wet n Wild rose palettes from their new collection. And the one I picked up was Bed of Roses, which is the, pretty much, all rose-toned colors. They have the other one that has a green, and I think there's one that's maybe more neutral, I'm not sure. And I'll also be using a little bit of my favorite Color Icon Rose in the Air palette just throughout the crease and under my brow bone mostly. And then I'll be using some MAC shadows later for the green tones, but we'll get to that later. So to start, I already have my foundation on. I'm using the MAC Pro Longwear with the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and then I set that with the Studio Finish powder in NC40. I lied. I just can't keep lies out of my mouth. I'm using the Select Sheer powder in NC40. As the name implies, it's really, really sheer, and it works great as a setting powder to just also give you a little bit of color as well. And then I have my eyelids primed with Lay and Low Paint Pot from MAC. So let's get this look started. So I'm going to start on my lid. I'm just going to take the Bed of Roses palette, and I'm just going to take the darker red on the top row, and that's just going to go all over my lid with a MAC 239. Really simple, really easy, not that complicated. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to be blending that out later with our crease colors, so let's get that started. To start on my crease, I'm just going to take my MAC 221, the Rose in the Air palette, and I'm going to take this really light blush kind of color just through my crease. And this is going to act more like a transitionary color than really giving me a lot of depth. And I'm just going to blend the edges of the lid color out. And I'm just creating a really round, arched shape with my crease. Like that. I'm going to really buff the edges of this eye out because I wasn't being careful. And you'll find that I do that a lot. I kind of slap color on in a general area and then I blend it out later. I don't have the patience to do really precise applications for every kind of look because not every kind of look calls for absolute precision. Obviously, there are some looks that are going to call for precision, but not every single one. And you want to get done fast because I know you're all just as lazy as I am. So, slap it on, blend it out later. So now that I have that done, I'm going to take this shade from the Rose in the Air palette, the kind of deeper cherry wine color, if you will. Same brush, and just go in the crease. I'm going to kind of keep that tucked a little bit more in the deeper recesses of the crease, just to really start creating some dimension and depth. Roses are some of my favorite flowers, and I know it's kind of cliche to say, but I really do enjoy them because they come in all colors, well, all variations of colors, and my grandma really liked them. So roses remind me of my grandma. We used to grow Lincoln roses at the last place we lived, so those are some of my favorite breeds, species. Just gonna take that blush color on this side. Like not just this eye, but like this end of the eye. Kind of bring that out a little more. Same thing on this side. Itching. Coming back with him with a little bit more of that deeper rose. And just softening the blend a little more. Getting there. So now I'm going to take my Morphe JS4 and start with that really deep wine color and just go in through the crease. I'm going to really kind of concentrate it on the inner corners of the crease. And this is a really intense color, so I'm just kind of lightly touching my brush to it, and that's more than enough pigment. This palette is really phenomenal. And then other left-handers, what do you do? Because I find that I'm always crossing my arms to work with my right eye when I use a handheld mirror. Is that what you guys do, or am I just weird? Let me know in the comments below. Shablam! And then I'm going to do this corner. I'm going to try not to connect those two spots too much. I'm really just keeping this right in the corner. Lost you a bit there. So I was saying I have this color in my corner, but I'm not trying to connect the two crease lines too much, because for my eye shape, that gives me the definition, but also keeps my lid nice and open. Same thing on this eye. I'm going to take my favorite Morphe little M507 pencil brush, and now that darkest color from this palette, and that's just going to go right at the very, very corner. I'm kind of sweeping and pulling it in, just so I have that like spot of depth. And I'm not noticing a ton of fallout with this palette, which is really impressive. So now I'm going to take a really small paddle brush. This is an old Bare Minerals one, but Morphe does make some really small paddle brushes like this, and I'm pretty sure Sephora does too. To compare, like this is the 239, this is the Morphe one, so it's quite a bit thinner. Let's see if I can get them. Yeah, it's not as wide all the way across. And I'm just going to take the brightest color in this palette. I'm going to spritz it with some toner, and that's going to go right in the center of the lid. Really brightens it up. I'm just going to take the lightest shade from the Rosé in the Air palette on a clean Morphe M433 and just buff that up under my brow bone. And this will help to kind of soften out and blend the edges of that crease color even further. So now the edges are a lot softer, and I can start with what's underneath. And that's going to be the thorn of the roses. So I'm just going to take a green gel pencil. NYX has some twist ups. This is an old MAC one called Jade Way. And I'm just going to lay down a foundation for the colors to stick to. And I'm pulling it out so I have a wing on the bottom. And as long as it's symmetrical, you're good to go. Because this is really just there for the shadows to stick to. Because we're going to really press them in so that they're like super compact. Pigmented. So I'm just going to take my NARS angled brush. I like this because it's super thin and really dense. It's very stiff. It's designed for the brows, I believe, but you can use it for anything. So I'm just going to take MAC's Lime shadow, which I believe is a MAC Pro only. So you can get this, I believe, at the MAC stores, but not the counters. So that's just going to go right in the inner corner. And about halfway across. Like to the edge of the iris on the outside. Like that. And then I'm actually going to go in with my Zulu palette from Juvia's Place. Picked this up at Ulta, and I was so happy that they got these palettes in because I've heard really good things about the formulas. So I'm just going to take this color here, which I think is kind of like Mochi from Sugar Pill. So I'm just going to use that one all the way across, and then we'll deepen it up with something else after. And I'm going to have that kind of meet the edges of the lime, just to kind of blend those two together. And then I'm going to take, this is a custom palette that I'm working on filling from MAC. So this side is all blushes, this side's going to be shadows. These are all the MAC Pro extension shades. Lost you again. Palette, custom, anyway. These are all of the extension shades that I know MAC Pro is sending to the stores. So I'm just going to take this one here, which is Bottle Green, and that's going to be the very end of the wing. All right. Now this part I'm really excited about. I'm going to take the MAC Chromographic Pencil in Basic Red. These are a MAC Pro only item. And I've never had any issues with this in my waterline, so I'm gonna do it. I know Jeffree Star has like his liquid lipsticks, which are eye safe. I've seen a lot of people do that in the waterline. So if you trust yourself, do it. I have contacts, so my eyes water constantly, so I don't know if it would set correctly in my waterline. So I'm going in with this, and I believe he says his eye pencils are eye safe as well, or his lip pencils are eye safe as well, but I'm not certain. So I'm just filling in my waterline with red. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do my brows, lashes, and bronzer off camera, and I will be right back with a wig. Alright, and I'm back. So I have my brows on, lashes. I'm wearing the Ardell Studio Effects lashes in 110. They're like a double stacked artist designed lash. I went with a red wig today because rose. Why not? You know, gotta go red. And then my bronzer was Refined Golden by MAC. And then I just highlighted with Golden Flower Crown from Wet n Wild because flowers. Yeah, that about does it for this look. Oh, and then my brows, I used the Anastasia Anastasia Brow Wiz in soft brown, which actually I'm not mad at. I do normally like my brows darker and a lot heavier, but this isn't bad. I don't know. Really natural. And since the look itself is intense, I think the soft brow works. So that is going to do it for this look today. If you guys like it or have any suggestions for looks you'd like to see from me, give me a comment down below. Hit that thumbs up button, and why not subscribe and come on this journey with me, because I'm only going to get better. I hope.